Welcome to the Mind Positivo podcast. My name is Biagio, and today our guest comes from Florida in the United States. His name is Jim Brandon. Jim is a motivational international speaker. He also happens to be a legend of the basketball professional world, has a highly respected commentator and sporting analyst, has played and coached in 7 countries. In the US for the legendary Boston Celtics. He's played in Italy, United Kingdom, Scotland, and Spain, and many more. He also holds the record for the highest points scored in an international game for a team player for the United States. Jim, welcome to the podcast.
Grazie, signori. Todo
Grazie,
bene, todo
Jim.
bene.
And Jim, sorry, Jim. You're originally from New York. You're a New Yorker. Is that where the journey started for you?
Yeah, it started for me in New York. I went back and forth. All my relatives, all my siblings were born in the Bronx, New York, so we're a Bronx family. I actually was born in Newark. We were moving around, and we moved around a bit, and through the New York, New Jersey areas where I grew up, Newark, New Jersey, and the Bronx. So very humble beginnings for sure. That's where all started with a phenomenal parents. And family unit, and got me on my way.
Fantastic. And I haven't missed anything in the intro there because you've done quite a lot. I wanted to ask you, having grown up in the Bronx in New York, did that sort of mold your future career of what you wanted to do, or just how did that story happen? How did you get into the professional basketball world?
Okay, yeah, the intro was excellent. Thank you very much. 2 anni in Italia, though. I had 2 years in Italy, so I played Udinese, the black and white stripes, and Siena. So tremendous time there amongst the other countries. But yeah, getting going was the family unit really had a big impact because, again, I'm from humble beginnings. So it was very rough area, some of the roughest areas that you can imagine in the United States. So riddled with, crime, drugs, and all sorts of vices that could take you. It took many of us out, whether prison, whether drug addiction, whether crime, and a lot of my friends didn't make it past the age of 18 years old. So that's kind of my environment. But my family was a very loving family. Very family about being something and doing something productive with your life, and not being a statistic. So that helped me get on my way and have a focus as a young person as far as my character is concerned, and I thank God for putting me in, having my relatives, my family unit intact, and kept me going. So yeah, that was my beginnings.
Fantastic. And Jimmy, if I can ask you, how anyone wanting to become an athlete or an entrepreneur or an actor or whatever, not everybody makes it. These young people not everybody makes it. So for those young people who still want to stay in the area they love, what would you recommend to them? If, obviously they may not be like myself tall enough for basketball, but may want to stay in the industry. What would you recommend a young, say, person who's wanting to still make it in their chosen passion?
And again, you said the perfect word. I was about to lead off with that, passion. If you find your passion, and a lot of people, don't necessarily find their passion until well into their lives. So if you find as a young person a passion, something that you really get up every morning and you have an interest in doing, and when you do it, it makes you feel good. What I would say is just remember that, you'll be hit with what I was hit with. In my industry, it was a 1 in 10 million chance for me to make it, to the places that I went to in my sport. So I had to believe in myself and enjoy what I was doing and not really listen to the negatives that were out there, because I wasn't good enough until well into my career. I have a shirt that says "Built, Not Born," because I wasn't one of the best players for a long, long time in my career until I finally got to the university level and then played professional ball. So I had a burning desire, first and foremost, to do something productive. It was a little bit of I got to get out of here too, because I saw what was happening to a lot of my contemporaries in the environment that I was in. They were dying, going to prison, overdosing on drugs. I had to get out of that environment, and I chose sport. I had a passion for it. I wasn't particularly good at it, but I had one thing I really knew that I had a very persistent, diligent character that if you told me I couldn't do something, I would stay until I did it. And I would certainly outwork you. And that was my talent. I wasn't as good as you, but you can't work like I can. And I knew that. So I used that. I rode that all the way through. So young people, I would just say, find your passion, believe in yourself, do what you want to do, and have fun with it. But don't let other people outwork you. Somewhere along the line, it's going to come out to who really wants it. You know, a guy called Kobe Bryant, the late Kobe Bryant, talks about the Mamba mentality. What that means is, can you outwork your competition? Because the more time I put into it, the better I'll get. And if I work harder, usually I'll beat you in the end.
Yeah. And like many successful champions and superstars, a lot of them had to work hard, as you said, to get there. Jim, nowadays, especially the youth, they want to experience the glamour, the fame, all of that sort of. How did you manage that sort of exposure when you were playing, particularly in the NBA? Was it challenging for you? Any tips for any young people getting into that, how to manage that pressure? Because I'm assuming there would have been pressure there.
Yeah, it started before then. It started in that university, actually, because I was, All-American junior college player. I was a player, Division I Player of the Year in New York, New Jersey area. So I was getting a lot of newspaper articles, magazines, TV, radio. So that was coming fairly early in my elevated career. For me, it was never about the fame or about it was never about the notoriety. It was about being the best that I could be. Again, I was following my passion. So I didn't really need an audience for me to do it and try to be the best at what I did, because it was something I was doing I was passionate about, which is why it's so important to pick something that what you do means something to you. It means something to you to be the best or one of the best at what you do. Once that started happening, whether it be, in the States, whether Italy, Spain, over in Yugoslavia, the Philippines, all the places that I went, Saudi Arabia, the notoriety was there, but there was never the thing that really drove me. It was something that came along with it. So it was about the hard nights and long nights in the gym at night when everyone was sleeping. It was about get up in the morning and working out so you're fitter than everyone else. It was how I handled it is I just stayed focused on my craft, didn't appreciated the notoriety I was getting. Okay. I mean, when you hit a shot with 1 second on the clock and it's 20,000 people indoors, because it's sort of echoing. It's not like being in a football stadium where it just goes into infinity. It's echoing off the walls and the acoustics, and that sound is addictive. I mean, it's like, wow. I mean, literally, it's like a drug going through you. So I just got caught up with being the best that I could be, and then the notoriety that you get is the kind of reward that that justifies that you have reached a certain level, and that was good enough. I didn't get caught up into, after I did my craft, I used to go straight home. I wasn't hang out in nightclubs or do extracurricular stuff. I just came right back home, and how can I duplicate that performance again? So that's how I dealt with it, and I did it for 23 years, going around the world.
Fantastic. And I know you work with a lot of the youth and what you're doing now with your international speaking, and tell us a bit about what you're doing there with helping others.
Well, having come through basketball and come through professional sports, it gives you a certain perspective on many things. One of the things that I really feel that I'm an expert at is teams and mindset of winning. So what I do is something called the business athlete, and basically I talk to executives in business, entrepreneurs, people who are in industry and commerce business to treat their business like a sport. Okay, all the idiosyncrasies and nonsense that are in sport that you can bring to your organization or your business and make it fun. Okay, and get that camaraderie, get that zone of people coming together and working together, high five and all that kind of stuff. So I really take that, because most people understand that, even though it's a different industry, you want to do that even in your family. You want to have the camaraderie and work together, type of atmosphere, aura, to make your unit work better. So that's what I do primarily. And my educational background was in business as well. So I have a degree in marketing and management. So I put my education and my sports career together, and kind of made a little niche as far as talking to people and corporations and professionals about how to be great business athletes in their endeavors.
Fantastic. And do you feel that, not only the youth, but those a little bit older that are wanting to be successful in business are not taking that approach as much as they should be? I know it's something you focus on, but, we see a lot of businesses, especially small, medium businesses, most of them fail within the first 18 months. Do you think it's because they lack that discipline?
No, I think a lot of it's, yes, but it's discipline and fundamentals, because, just because you want to go run in the Olympics at the, run the 100, 200 meter race and win a gold medal, you can't just go out there and flail your arms and legs and think you're going to win. I think it's strategy, it's training, it's body biomechanics, how your body works, how your business works. There's a lot of things that goes into it. So I would say, fundamentals is very important. Knowing the business before you go into it, your obstacles. Remember, it's going to be a numbers thing anyway. Like I said, I was one in 5 million, 1 in 10 million for me to do what I did. So I could have, many people failed at trying to be a professional athlete, who are good. Some of them much better than me. So it takes a little bit of luck, but I think you increase your chances of success if you have your fundamentals, you do your research, you prepare better, and you have good people on your team. It increases your possibility of being successful. It's very hard to be successful in business as it is in sport. You just really have to go into it with, and in sports now, it's funny, the key thing is analytics. So the eye test is going a little further away from sports. You have a coach, he sees talent in someone, this person's going to be, but now it's analytics. What does this person do in this situation on a consistent basis, with this amount of time on the clock, in this type of environment, with this type of players around them? It's all statistical, mathematical analytics now in sports. So as a budding professional or entrepreneur, do the best you can statistically, fundamentally, preparation-wise, to increase your analytics of being successful.
And Jim, do you think if all this analytics and technology was around when you were playing, would have made it easier for you?
It would have done in certain ways, but you can't always. It's a tool, but it's not the be all and end all, because we're human beings, we're not robots. So there is a human side to who we are and what we are. I've had as a coach players who have come to me who other teams had given up on and thought that they weren't worthy of playing at the level we were at, and they became stars. Now, what is that? It wasn't analytics. It was because we're humans. It's the head and the heart and how you appeal to people and how you go about, your mindset. So the analytics is good on preparation and everything, but there's a human side. There's something that when I look at you, Biagio, I can't tell everything that's happening inside of you. It's impossible. Okay, so I can go on analytics, but I can't really judge that. And that's the spirit of success, being something when potentially no one expected it to be. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And with your whole speaking programs that you work on, do you find individuals that you mentioned the players that other teams let go and you took them on and they became stars? Do you find a lot of people just give up because no one gives them that opportunity?
Yes, it happens a lot. And, that's the piece that you have to really believe in yourself. You have to believe in the miracle, if you will, of what you are capable of doing, sometimes not getting the opportunity. There's many, many stories in sports, and there's many stories in business and entrepreneurship that the people who, the odds were just drastically stacked against them, and against all odds, they were successful. If you think about it, those are the greatest books we read, is that people started from humble beginnings or started from a place of improbability and were able to achieve something that we never expected. And the journey and the drama and the peaks and valleys that they endure inspires us to say, you know what, I'm not giving up either. So yes, if you believe in what you do, if you love what you do, and then block out all the negativity and go for it. Go for it as hard as you possibly can, because one of the worst things that will happen to you in the end is that when you say to yourself, I could have, should have, would have, had I, and that's a terrible thing to live with. So my whole thing is, if you want to do something, you believe in something, go for it with all of everything in you. So when you get to the finish line, whether you break the world record or not, you're spent. You know you did your very best, and you can go to sleep at night.
Absolutely. And when you talk about passion, you probably need a lot of that, because when you are doing the commentating and the sports analyst, how do you remember all those names and numbers when you're commentating on a sporting basketball game?
Again, because it's your passion. You remember things that are
that you like.
Yeah, it's you can remember things that are very, very important, because you're putting it in the whole movie that you have in your mind about what you do. And for me, doing speaking is all about being a sponge. So I try to take something from everyone that I encounter. Tonight, I'll take something from you that I'll use in the future, because I'm learning all the time. I'm speaking to you, but I'm learning from you also. That's very much so part of what makes me tick and allows me to gain enough, knowledge and substance that I can actually give back out to people something that's really relevant and beneficial for them.
Fantastic. And Jim, if you were able to give the young people one piece of advice, I know you've spoken about a lot of things, but if it was one thing you'd want to say, whatever you listen to this advice, what would it be?
Be true to yourself. And it's more than one thing. Be true to yourself, find your passion. But one thing I didn't speak about that's really important. Be careful of your surroundings. Make sure the people around you are the right people. There was a survey done years ago, and I forget which university, but it was very interesting to me. And they did an in-depth survey, and they said that if you take 3 of your most inner circle people, the ones that you spend the most, not family, just friends, mates, and put them together. So you add them all together, whatever they do, whether they're affluent or not, or educated or not, or active or not, you just put the 3 of them, everything that makes them who they are, put them all together. Okay, add them together, mix them up, divide them by 3, take one of those, and that's you.
Right. Wow.
So watch who you're around, because it affects who you are, who you'll become. It affects your mindset. It affects your character. It affects your opportunities. It affects everything that you do. It affects your aura, your vibe. So it's important, whoever you are. And that's how I was able to make it out of the environment that I was in. Instead of hanging out with the pimps, the prostitutes, the drug dealers, the gangsters, I hung around kids who were into sport and academic, and I was able to make it out, which was highly unlikely but I chose my surrounding, and that's very, very important.
No, that's great advice. And it goes to the saying, tell me your friends and I'll tell you your future.
Exactly. Perfect.
So Jim, before we wrap up, where could our listeners, because we have listeners from around about 30 different countries, if they wanted to reach out and get in touch with you, or have an interest in the motivational speaking, any programs, how can they get in touch with you? What would be the best way?
Well, they can hit me up on LinkedIn if they want, Jim Brandon, LinkedIn. They can go that way. Again, I speak to professionals in the business world, entrepreneurship, any profession, about being successful, and sports teams as well. One of the things that I bring to the table is that I had these 23 years of professional sports and commentary and things of that nature, and I'm really passionate about really helping people be successful and understand that a lot of times I've noticed with players and teams that they had their ceiling was too low. Most people, their ceiling is higher than what they envision, which is one of the toughest things about coaching, because you're fighting the person about their image of themselves. Okay, you see in them what they don't see in the mirror. So that's one of the things that I feel that I specialize in. I'm very excited about it. I'm very passionate about it. And anyone who wants to reach out and want me to speak to their team, we speak to people all over the world. Now this whole Zoom pandemic thing has opened up. I used to be more face-to-face, but now I can reach out. I did something recently in Hanoi, Vietnam. We did something in Cairo, Egypt. So we're all over the world doing this thing. Myself and also dealing with Andy Fell's Gift 631, just to know about fundamentals. He does a phenomenal program of teaching about the fundamentals of business. So I work with him quite a bit, and we have a great compatibility. The synergy is great because he goes from the physical, and I go from pretty much the mindset and structure. So the fundamentals and what I bring to the table is pretty awesome. But in any case, either way, we're here to help you. It's real. I'm passionate about it, and I guarantee you that if we do something with you, that you'll get some positive benefits from us.
Fantastic. And Andy Fell's a champion fellow, and the two of you together, unbeatable team there. So great combination. Jim, congratulations on your career, everything you've achieved, everything you're doing, because it's, one thing to people say, oh yeah, he made it in this and doing that, but very few give back after everything's happened to make a difference to others. So, and you're a fantastic example of that, Jim. So thanks for that. And I really appreciate you taking the time to join me on the podcast. I just wanted to say before we finish, my great-grandfather worked in the New York subways in the early 1900s and
Wow.
lived in the Bronx for a while.
Wow.
But it was a long time ago.
That's why I like you so much. You have the Bronx in your bloodline, so.
Sometimes I say to people, how you doing? Like just accidentally. So I think that comes through from my great-grandfather.
Excellent. You said that well.
All right, Jim, once again, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. And hopefully, move down the track, we can sort of have another chat. If there's anything we can help with what you do, let us know. Happy to help whenever we can. And once again, it's an honor to have you on the podcast.
Thank you very much. And just tell anyone if they need that vitamin M that we bring, vitamin motivation, reach out to me, Jim Brandon, reach out to Andy Feld, Gift 631, and we'll put on a well organized, impactful day for you with your business.
Fantastic. And we'll put all the contact details along when we post the interview as well.
Excellent. Thank you very much for having me.
Have a great day. Thanks again.
Gracias, Tony. Arrivederci.
Grazie.